Hi, I'm attorney Dave Buckley. One of the more frustrating phone calls I'll get as a personal injury attorney are calls from people who say they've been trying to settle their own case and they've hit a dead end and they just can't get any further with the adjuster, and now they want to see if I can take over the case for them. And I usually don't. It's a rare event that I do, to be honest. And the reason for that is because how a personal injury case is managed at the very beginning will dictate the valuation of a claim at the end. And if certain things are not done correctly at the beginning, it's very hard to undo that harm that's been caused to the value of that case. Um, a lot of times the adjuster for the insurance company that the person's working with are very nice, and a lot of times they are very nice. I've had plenty of good experiences with adjusters, and they are genuinely good people. um, but they have a job to do, and their job is to pay you as little as possible, and a lot of times they get away with that because people don't understand how a personal injury case should be processed properly to maximize the value. And one of the death knells of valuing a personal injury case by someone who doesn't know what they're doing is when an adjuster makes an offer to that layperson. When that offer is made, that's a pretty hard number that the insurance company is going to stick with. And it's going to be very hard to get them off that number. And that number is usually very low. And it's maddening for me because it's unfortunate. It really is. Not long ago, I got a phone call from someone who was just explaining that to me, and they wanted me to take over the case. And the adjuster had offered $8,000 for their injury, and I didn't tell this to them, but that was a $75,000 claim. I didn't want to make them feel any worse than they already did. But trying to do this yourself, it's not recommended because you don't know what you're doing. Um, Pick up the phone and call me. Pick up the phone and call an attorney. It doesn't have to be me. Call anybody um, before you start the process, before you start trying to do it yourself. Because, you know, trying to save a buck early on is not really in your best interest.